My heat and air were in a state of disrepair. My drains were clogged. I was really in despair. So I called some guy. You've never seen such a mess. And every time he leaned over, well, you can probably guess. Now I get it done right by Picture Rocks Cooling. They're neat and clean, peachy keen. Really no fooling. Got a problem? Just call up and help is coming. Picture Rocks Cooling, heating and plumbing.
Hi, I'm Alan Murdoch. For the past 20 years, I've been buying, fixing, and selling properties right here in Southern Arizona. And I want to buy your property. Whether it's a house, apartment, commercial building, or vacant land, regardless of the condition or the situation, I want to talk to you. When you sell to me, I pay cash and it's hassle-free. No repairs, no closing costs, and no commissions. If you have a property you don't want to deal with and you want a quick solution, call, text, or visit selltalon.com. Again, that's selltalon.com.
Discover the power of 88 Crime, where your anonymous tips are rewarded with cash. When you call in anonymously with the tip, you are given a code. With the code and a password, you can walk into a bank and redeem your reward anonymously. If your anonymous tip results in a felony arrest, you can claim up to $2,500 cash reward. Let's stop the silence on crime and strive for a safer community. For more information, please visit 88crime.org or call 88crime.
Copper Creek Cookies, Copper Creek Cookies, coppercreekcookies.net.
We can print anything on our soft vanilla logo cookies. We deliver them and other sweet treats locally. We are located at 4249 West Ina Road, Suite 121. Call us 520-300-1131. We bake smiles.
Copper Creek Cookies, Copper Creek Cookies, coppercreekcookies.net.
All right, good morning. We are having a special election day, Southwest flavor, and if you haven't voted, go out and vote today. It is your civic duty to do it. It doesn't matter who you're voting for. I'm not telling you who to vote for, but definitely go out and vote and get your vote out because it's a very important election. So today is Tuesday, and we're doing our special episode of Southwest Flavor, and I have my good friend and guest here, Logan Harding from Shadow Point Media. Welcome, Logan. And the crowd goes wild.
There we go. Thanks for having me on, man.
Yeah. Thank you for being on.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Golly. I'll kind of start back where we started with Tucson. So we moved here back in 2020. I came from North Carolina, and life kind of had its ups and downs there and sent us over here.
Did you come right in the middle of the pandemic, or was it at the beginning? Or?
We were driving across the country, and we hit Missouri, and we were going to stay with family for a couple weeks. And the second day we were there, everybody starts talking about the pandemic breaking out. And
so it was early in the year.
And who knows what's happening. Yeah, so we packed up the next day and finished our trip out here.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it was kind of a crazy time to move completely across the country. My wife's family's here, and so we had a couple kids and wanted to get them close to the grandparents, and so we moved out here and started over. And as soon as we got here to start over, everything shut down.
Yeah, it's hopefully that will be the craziest time of our lifetimes, and we have it past us now.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. I'm not banking on it.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, it's been a really fun journey. I'm an entrepreneur at heart, so challenges are exciting to me. And that was a big challenge to move out here, and I wanted to start my own company. And
cool. It
was kind of a good time. Nobody else was hiring at the moment.
Yeah.
At the beginning of that, everybody was laying off and closing down. And so it was I'll say a good time to try and start my own business. Challenging in its own way, but there were a lot of good things that came out of it.
Okay.
But yeah, that's how we ended up here.
And where were you coming from?
We came from North Carolina.
From North Carolina, okay.
Yep. We was there for about 4 years, and Florida before that, Missouri before that, so kind of just all over.
Oh, wow. So North Carolina and Florida, were you in any big storms? Were you?
When we were in Florida, I was in college there, and so there were several, I almost said monsoons, but they don't have monsoons in
hurricanes,
Florida.
right?
Hurricanes, yeah. There were several hurricanes that came through there. And then North Carolina, we were in Raleigh, and so Raleigh would get hit pretty solid with hurricanes, and The place where we lived was a little bit lower elevation, and so it would always get flooded.
Oh,
and
wow.
power would always go out for several days, and it wasn't it was just a ton of rain.
Okay.
And I don't miss that at all.
Yeah, yeah. He came here and it's completely opposite.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's great. We've talked about, natural disasters here. It just gets freaking hot.
Yeah.
If you
That's
can
right.
handle that, we're good.
That's right. You never have to shovel sunshine.
This is true.
Yeah.
This is true. So yeah, we've loved Tucson, and the network here has been fantastic. The community here is like, I've never experienced this, and I've lived in 7 different states.
Oh, okay.
And
Wow.
this community is really special.
Yeah.
How networked it is. And when I first moved, one of my first connections here told me, they're like, Tucson's kind of like a high school hallway.
Yeah.
If you make friends and you treat people right, you'll make it all the way through the hallway, and it'll be
Right.
great.
Yeah.
If you screw anybody over, everybody's going to know about it, and you're not going to make it through the hallway.
That's true.
It's like, okay.
That's true. Tucson's kind of like a handshake town still.
Yeah.
It definitely, you need to network, and then you need to stand behind what you say.
Yep.
Yeah. And if you don't, then people are going to know about it.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. It's proven very beneficial for us.
Right.
It's-
So how did you get started networking in Tucson?
Oh, golly. Cold calling?
Really? Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
That's like the toughest thing.
it was. It
Yeah.
was. I've been in photography since I was 8. And
Okay.
I've always been a photographer, always wanted to run my own thing, and went to college for media, was in North Carolina working in corporate doing photo and video work for e-learning in the healthcare industry. So that was a little
Oh,
weird.
wow. Okay.
Freelanced with a really cool team over there on the East Coast doing marketing for NASCAR teams, high-end weddings, picked up a lot of my trade skills from them.
Yeah. That'd be fun doing the NASCAR.
It was.
Yeah.
It was.
I'm not a NASCAR guy, but just, it'd be fun filming it and all that.
Yeah, I'm not either, but the whole space was really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. When I went to Atlanta and I actually drove on the
No
the
way.
Georgia Speedway.
All right.
Yeah.
That's super cool.
Yeah. Drove a
That's
NASCAR. Yeah.
I want to fly drones for that someday and chase the cars.
Yeah. I got up to, I think it was 154.
All right.
Around the track.
All right.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it is.
Did you drive your car or like the NASCARs?
We drove the NASCAR. Yeah, it's
All
the
right.
NASCAR experience.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it was. It was really cool. So the first time you can drive with the driver and do that experience, and then you get 2 times where you actually get to drive the NASCAR.
Wow.
Yeah, and there's no speedometer. It's just the guy talking to you on the headphones, and he tells you when to shift based on RPMs.
Okay.
And you shift, and then afterwards they tell you how fast your maximum speed was and what your average was.
That's so cool.
Yeah. And once you get over probably 145 or 150, it starts pulling you up that track.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah, so you're kind of fighting it. It's physical. It's very physical.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
I'll have to check that out sometime.
Yeah. I think they might have one in Phoenix at Avondale. I think they have an experience.
Okay. I don't care about NASCAR, but I do like driving fast.
Yeah.
so-
Yeah. You can legally drive fast up there.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go. I got to try that out.
You have to pay for it, of course, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Everything in life, right?
that's true.
You don't get a free lunch, so.
That's true. There's no such thing as free.
Oh man. Yeah, so that was a cool experience working in that space. And then I'd worked part-time before in real estate photography.
Okay.
Had a couple different stints back in 2015 and then 2019. And so when we moved out here, I wanted to start my own business, and the real estate photography business model just made so much sense. If you land a couple good clients, they keep selling houses and they keep coming back to you for more
That's
photos.
true. Yeah.
Right. You never
Yeah,
run
repeat
out.
business. Yep.
And I didn't know anything about the real estate industry necessarily or what the market was like here. But when we landed here, I knew that's what I wanted to try and start in.
Okay.
And so I gave myself, and my wife and I gave our business a 1-month run. And if it didn't work in a month, I was going to go back and look for regular
Really?
work. So I had
That's a pretty short time.
It was. We were bone dry, had no money. We were
Okay.
actually really broke. In North Carolina, I had been fired from the corporate job.
Oh, okay.
And we lost everything. We lost our apartment, cashed out our 401k, and we used our tax return money just to move out
Wow.
here. And then we ended up with nothing here.
Yeah. So you started from nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we've learned a lot through all of that.
Sure.
It's been really good.
Sure. You always learn a lot through your trials.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for us, it was kind of just sink or swim. It wasn't I think I'm going to try and start a fun business kind of thing. It's
Wow.
like, I have to put food on the table for my
Right.
family
Yeah.
or go back to a corporate job that sucks my soul. So, so I made a game plan. And for that first month, I hopped on the phone and everything was shut down. So I wasn't going to, traditionally you would have gone to realtor offices
Right.
and passed out pamphlets
Yeah,
and
and
whatever,
talk to
but
the team and everything.
because everybody had shut down, offices were closed. This is kind of the first good thing because of COVID was
Yeah.
everybody was at their phone or computer. And so I emailed and cold called 8-9 hours a day for 6 days a
Wow.
week.
Oh, wow.
And that's all I did. And I hate sales.
Yeah.
I hate cold. I hated sales before I learned how to do it.
Okay. Everyone's in sales, whether you
this
realize
is what
it
I've
or
learned.
not.
This is what I've learned, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't know that starting out. It was
Right.
really, it was hard.
Okay.
But when I finally got the right mindset of, I'm here to help people. I've got a product that can help.
Yeah.
And when I could frame it mentally that way, it became so much easier. And I just cold called and followed up with emails. And by the end of that month, I had landed 3 jobs.
Okay.
Not enough to pay the bills, but it was
Yeah.
a start.
Right.
But at the end of that, my wife and I kind of had a conversation of like, we gave it a month and it's not paying the bills. It's not putting enough food on the table. So
Right.
I'm going to go look for work.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So for 2 more days, I got on LinkedIn. I got online looking
Mm-hmm.
for jobs, applying for jobs online, and nothing happened. I mean, it was COVID. Everybody was shut
Yeah.
down.
Yeah. It was
And,
almost impossible probably to land a job during COVID.
Which I was kinda
Or at
glad
least
for.
The early part.
Yes,
Yeah.
I came into those 2 weeks being like, okay, I don't think I'm going to land anything, but I'm doing this because I have to. And then that next week, I started getting callbacks from the realtors,
Okay.
and it never slowed down.
Wow.
And from that point on, either I was shooting and editing
Mm-hmm.
and delivering media or making more cold calls. And I could pretty much gauge it where I could guarantee if I cold called for a couple days, 3 weeks down the road, I would get returns.
Ah, okay.
Whether it was from people I cold called or not,
Yeah.
there was a direct correlation to business picking up in 2 to 3 weeks.
Wow.
And so that's how I started for the first year. It was cold calling and shooting, cold calling and shooting.
Pretty much doing everything yourself.
Yeah, everything.
Yeah.
And it was crazy. But in that first year, I replaced what I was making in corporate.
Okay. Fantastic.
Actually, in that first 7 months.
Wow. That's great.
Yeah. And so leading into that second year, I was getting really busy. I was working, averaging 90 hours a week on my own.
Okay. I understand.
And it's hard, right?
Yeah.
And so I did that for a year and a half,
Okay.
almost 2 years,
Yeah.
before I realized I can't really keep this up,
Right.
and I can't scale.
Yeah.
And so I hired on an editor, and he started helping with all the editing. That took a big load off my plate.
Right. Just
And
working that many hours, it takes a toll on your family too.
It did.
You know,
it
takes,
did.
and you know your mental and physical status also.
I was still high on starting a business.
Yeah.
And so physically, mentally, I was all gung ho on it.
Right.
But with the family, you're right. It
Yeah.
took a big toll on my wife and kids and
Sure.
relationship. And
Yeah.
to be honest, the whole 3 years leading up to that has taken a toll on them.
Okay.
And so it was good to be able to start recalibrating and seeing that, hiring the editor on to help with that stuff. And since then, we've just grown, and there's been a lot of growth and a lot of change in our business
Right.
since that point. But yeah, just being able to look back and see, we moved here at the beginning of COVID,
Yeah.
and really I attribute any of our success to God working on our behalf and
Of course. Yeah.
putting things in place where I didn't choose the real estate industry because I thought it would be good.
Yeah.
I chose it because that's what I had been doing part-time for the last 9 months in North
Right.
Carolina.
And that's what you love doing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so that was the one industry that really never stopped in COVID. In
Right.
fact, it
Oh,
skyrocketed.
it probably picked up. Yeah. Like you said, skyrocket.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
And so everything that we did, and we came from the East Coast where I had been working with a pretty high level team
Mm-hmm.
and picking up some really good skills there. And coming to Tucson, the general media space here was 10, 15 years behind
Oh, wow.
in
Okay.
the look, the feel, the technology. If you compare it to East Coast or California or whatever else, everything here had been really just set for a long time.
Oh, okay.
And there wasn't a lot of innovation. And so we came in with something very new, very different. And then I love innovating, and I
Right.
continued to push that. And so we stepped into flying drones and everything that aerial photography and video took us to. And it really kind of set us apart when we first came,
Okay.
which helped a lot.
Right.
Helped get us noticed. And then from there, building the relationships was all on me to build that part.
Right.
And again, I feel like God's given us favor where we didn't deserve it. We haven't built a relationship. We didn't know people here. But just from cold calling and working with people and building relationship and earning respect, the network here, again, the community, they passed our name around to so many people.
Right.
And within the first 6 months to a year, I was connected to some of the biggest business people here.
Oh, wow.
In just a really good way, and they liked us for no reason and would pass our name around, and we built our client base like that.
That's fantastic. It's amazing the people that God puts in your life. And, you know, most of the time you don't even know it. You don't know the reason why they're in your life or what's going to happen in the future, but
Yep.
they get put in your life for a reason.
And I love being able to look back and see that.
Yeah.
Right. Day in the life, you meet so many people and you
Oh,
do
yeah.
things and you don't know why this is happening or how it's going to turn out.
Right.
But looking back, I can see every step of the way where
Yeah.
God provided the right people at the right time or brought us to the right place at the right time.
Yep.
And I had dreamed of running this business ever since college.
Mm.
And I've tried in college in Florida. I tried in Missouri. I tried in North Carolina, but none of those places ever took. And I didn't know what niche I was in. I didn't know what I was marketing. I didn't know how to
Oh,
sell.
okay.
And so there's a lot of factors why it didn't work.
Yeah.
But I never would have guessed that God would have brought us to the desert to make it bloom and work.
Yeah.
And it's just been such a cool
What brought
experience.
your in-laws to the desert?
Their parents were here,
Oh.
and they were born and raised here.
Oh,
And
okay.
then they went to California for work for 20 years.
Oh, wow.
They
And came back and retired here?
Came back here and took care of their parents.
Oh,
So
okay.
coming here gave our kids grandparents, great-grandparents, aunts,
Yeah.
uncles, cousins, everybody that we didn't
Very
have in
cool.
North Carolina.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool. And did you meet your wife in college?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Yep. Went to
All right.
Pensacola Christian College.
Okay.
I'd go rock climbing all the time, and she worked at the rock wall and
Oh, there you
kind
go.
of started a relationship. And
Yeah.
was part of my brother had started a prayer group in college, and so she came into that. And we were part of a good friend circle there for a few years, and then got married when she graduated and
Wow, that's cool.
kicked life off.
Do you still do any rock climbing or hiking or anything?
I would love to. I don't have time at the moment.
Okay.
We've got 3
I
kids.
can understand that too. Yeah.
And starting a business. The first 5 years I've heard of starting a business is
Yeah,
the hardest.
it is.
We're
It is.
4 years in right now, so
Okay.
we've still got another year of like,
Yeah.
all right, we've got to keep buckling down and making this happen.
Right. Yeah, and the economy this year hasn't been the greatest either, so.
Yeah, and that's another thing I'm grateful for is I'm learning to run a business in
In a tough economy.
In an economy that's not ideal.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Starting it in COVID, I mean, there were several benefits, but there's also been several hard things because of it. And
Right.
the last couple of years have been challenging.
Yeah.
But I'm learning a lot.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should never stop learning.
No.
Yeah.
No.
It's the truth. I mean, even when you're an older, elderly person, you should never stop learning
Yeah.
because there's always something out there to learn,
Yep.
even from the next generation or a couple generations down.
Yep. No,
Yep.
it's been really good. And you asked about networking. So I'm trying to remember how I got looped into Business Associates of Tucson.
Right.
It's where I met you, the
Right.
networking group.
Yep. It's a great group.
I don't remember if it was Brian who had brought me in or who it was, but
Okay.
somebody invited me. I came and visited, loved it. And so I
Was it through church?
joined the group.
Did you meet someone through church and then they came in, or?
Honestly, I don't remember. man.
Okay.
I was thinking about it yesterday. I'm like, how
Yeah.
did I get tied into this group? Because it's awesome.
Right.
But being part of that business networking group has been one of the best things for me and my business and
Yeah.
learning because the people in there have been there for
Long
upwards
time.
of 50 years.
Yeah.
And they have every answer to every problem that I've had in business, whether it's money, personnel, insurance, whatever it is. I have people in that group that care about what we're doing and they're willing to help.
Right.
It's been fantastic.
Yeah, it is. It's a great group for, just for those reasons, not only
Yeah.
the personal and business relationships, but just the experience that you can ask, hey, I'm having this problem or I'm having this issue,
Yep.
and someone in the group has done it already.
They
Yeah.
have. They
Yeah.
have. Or if they haven't personally, they have somebody who has.
Yeah.
And again, the community
seen
of the
it.
network is just awesome.
Yeah. Are you doing any other networking throughout Tucson?
That's the only network group I'm part of at the moment.
Okay.
I'm considering Chamber of Commerce,
Okay.
and I want to step into that.
Yeah.
I've been trying to free up some time.
Yeah.
With
That's
the
the
business.
hardest part is time.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. But it's going well.
Okay.
Right now, most of our network is referral business.
Fantastic.
So that's been growing, and it's the best marketing that we can get.
Yeah.
And especially in Tucson.
Yeah.
So that's growing, and right now I'm really working on scaling and building the foundation and making sure we have the right people in the right places.
That's important.
So it's changed from, we started in just real estate media. We went from that to, I was planning on just being a solo photographer. I never planned on building a team.
Okay.
I was going to move into architecture and design,
Oh, wow.
photography, which is a really good field. I can do it. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I learned how to do all of that. So I do shoot architecture and design.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So when you say real estate photography, you look at the MLS and you see all the photos for homes.
Sure.
90 to 95% of them are going to be shot super wide. They try and make rooms look gigantic because
Right.
they want to sell the square footage.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily about composition in a photo.
Okay.
It's really, most of the low end real estate photography is just, hey, here's a space. And we took a picture of it.
Okay.
I love the art of photography. I love considering lighting, composition, and I've done continuing education on the psychology behind why the human brain likes a photo. What is it about a photo that the human brain connects with?
Yeah.
And either you like it or you don't, but maybe you don't even know why. You can just look at a photo, it makes you feel uncomfortable.
Okay.
Or you can look at a photo, it makes you feel like, that feels really good. And you don't know why.
Yeah. So that's kind of also the reason in real estate where if you have an empty house, they'll stage it.
That's part of it.
There's actual companies that come in and
Yeah.
they'll stage your house for you and bring in pictures and
Yep.
and furniture and different things and make it that soft feeling.
Yep.
So it's not doesn't look like a vacant industrial building.
Just a cold, hard box.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, when I wanted to move into that architecture and design space, I mean, I saw everything in the foothills. I saw everything in Phoenix. I saw Architectural Digest magazine and all these things that were just really just gorgeous looking photography.
Oh, okay.
And so I pushed in and I learned how to do all of that. And it really boils down to using specific rules in composition
All right.
in photography.
All right. We will be back in a couple minutes on Southwest Flavor.
Hi, I'm Alan Murdoch. For the past 20 years, I've been buying, fixing, and selling properties right here in southern Arizona. And I want to buy your property. Whether it's a house, apartment, commercial building, or vacant land, regardless of the condition or the situation, I want to talk to you. When you sell to me, I pay cash and it's hassle-free. No repairs, no closing costs, and no commissions. If you have a property you don't want to deal with and you want a quick solution, call, text, or visit selltalon.com. Again, that's selltalon.com.
Discover the power of 88 Crime, where your anonymous tips are rewarded with cash. When you call in anonymously with the tip, you are given a code. With the code and a password, you can walk into a bank and redeem your reward anonymously. If your anonymous tip results in a felony arrest, you can claim up to $2,500 cash reward. Let's stop the silence on crime and strive for a safer community. For more information, please visit 88crime.org or call 88crime.
Copper Creek Cookies, Copper Creek Cookies, coppercreekcookies.net.
We can print anything on our soft vanilla logo cookies. We deliver them and other sweet treats locally. We are located at 4249 West Ina Road, Suite 121. Call us 520-300-1131. We bake smiles.
Copper Creek Cookies, Copper Creek Cookies, coppercreekcookies.net.
Your favorite radio just got bigger, bolder, and better connected. Live the Dream Media is revolutionizing how you stay tuned in. With our explosive growth in online radio and our brand new mobile app, your entertainment goes wherever you do. Stream your favorite shows, discover new hits, and connect with audiences across the digital landscape, all at your fingertips. Advertisers don't miss out. Join our expanding digital network and reach engaged listeners across platforms. Download the Live the Dream Media app today and experience radio reimagined.
All right, welcome back to Southwest Flavor. I am your host, Ron Arenas. Hey, if you haven't downloaded the Live the Dream Media app, go ahead and do that. You can get it on your Google Store, get it on your Apple Store. It's free. All the content on there is free. There's a bunch of us doing some shows. There's music. So pretty much 24 hours for your listening entertainment. Right now we're talking with Logan Harding of
Shadow Point Media.
Shadow Point Media. I'm sorry, I lost
You're good. You're good.
Yeah, thank you. So you're talking about architecture and
Yeah.
shooting that.
Yeah. So moving from real estate photography into architecture and design photography is really the whole difference is composition and lighting.
Okay.
And I really enjoyed the art of photography. And I feel like moving in that direction instead of just churn and burn real estate,
Yeah.
moving into architecture and design where people really value your work. And
Oh, okay.
I'll take sometimes 10 times the amount of time to take one photo as I would for real estate.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It's a much, much longer, in-depth process of finding the right composition,
Hmm.
making sure everything's absolutely perfect, making sure the lighting's perfect, and then in the editing process, again, that
Yeah.
much more time editing and really creating something that's beautiful. It's art, and
Okay.
I really enjoyed that. And so I kind of planned on just going that direction and becoming the best artist that I could be, and
Right.
hopefully traveling the world and shooting architecture and design. God had other plans. And as I was moving into that, so it that easily took us into the luxury real estate space.
Yeah.
So we've shot some of the most expensive homes in Tucson and worked with the top 1.5% rated realtors in the nation that are actually based here in Tucson.
Oh,
Just
wow.
incredible experiences, incredible people.
We do have some very beautiful houses here in Tucson.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I have a lot of friends in other states now, and they look and they're like, I've never seen homes like that.
Yeah.
How do you get into these places?
Right.
And I've never seen homes like them anywhere else either. So,
Yeah.
it's been a really, really cool experience. And as I was building all of this, I would have clients who would come up and ask, hey, can you're really good at this. Can you do social media? Or can you do Facebook ads? Or can you do
Okay.
a logo or whatever? And
Yeah.
graphic design, social media, they're all very, very different
Yeah.
from real estate or architecture photography.
Sure.
And it would just so happen that I would have a client that would need something, and I would have another artist or connection that could do those things. And so I started matchmaking those people and really started building what we have now of a full service digital marketing agency. And I never planned on doing that.
Yeah.
It just, God brought the right people at the right time and created this vision that was so much bigger than me doing my art.
Okay.
And now we've got a team of 6 people, and we do everything digital marketing, building websites. We specialize in video and photo content because that's my background.
Okay.
But it's brought my brother, who's a graphic designer. We went to college together. We worked in corporate together. We always wanted to continue working together and do something together. And then when I was in corporate, he went out to Therapeutic Boys Ranch in Missouri. And he worked direct care with teenage boys that needed help.
Yeah.
And he did that. He and his wife did that for 5 years.
Wow. So is he your older brother or little brother?
Younger.
Younger,
He's
okay.
2 years younger.
All right.
But he is phenomenal at graphic design.
Oh.
And it works, that industry works, or that art form works so well with everything that I've done.
Yeah.
And the clients that I needed.
Is he here in
And
Tucson or is
no,
he's remote?
He's still in Missouri.
Okay.
Most
wow.
of our team's remote.
Wow. Okay.
So he's in Missouri. Claire, our social media specialist, is in Talladega, Alabama. Dan he's our web developer. He's in Iowa.
Wow.
Then Sean is local. He's our story crafter, and Claire is local. And she's another graphic design and advertising specialist.
Okay.
So
And you have some other photographers here too, also, right?
Well, I had another photographer,
Yeah.
and she ended up moving out of state 7 months ago. And that's initially where we had brought Hallie on to be another photographer. She graduated with a graphic design and advertising degree, and photography was really the space I had open that we had need for.
Right.
And so she worked in that space for about 4 months, and it just really wasn't like the right fit for her.
okay.
And I really believe
fair.
in giving people their best work.
Yeah.
If they're going to stick around in the company, I want them to have their best work, or they're going to go find somewhere else where they can.
Yeah.
And she's definitely the kind of person that needs to be on our team.
Okay.
And I'm really more focused about the kind of people
Right.
and the culture that we're building.
Yeah.
And if they're the right fit for the team, we'll find a spot
Okay.
and find someone else to replace her. So right now I'm back to shooting everything by myself.
Wow.
So yeah, it was. We brought my brother on after the editor, and he came on doing graphic design, creating logos. He does visual brand identities for our clients that need it, and that's everything from creating the logo to choosing the fonts, choosing the colors, just everything that brings a brand to life online.
Right. Okay.
Think of a big brand like Nike. You know them because of their logo and
Yeah.
their text and everything. And
Right.
that's the
You
visual
recognize
brand
it. Yeah.
identity.
You recognize the swoosh.
Yeah.
You recognize the M for McDonald's.
Yep.
You know.
So we haven't created a brand like that yet, but
Yeah.
we're moving that way.
Okay.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just really kind of built into this. We can do everything digital marketing, and now we're taking on retainer marketing for clients.
Wow.
And I'm just getting a bigger and bigger and bigger vision for where I want that to go.
Okay.
We're planning on being a national, if not global, brand, and
Fantastic.
yeah, I'm really excited for where things are going. And we still run the real estate media space.
Yeah.
Since we've moved into that luxury space, it's pretty niche, and I'm not overloaded with work, but I'm
okay.
very busy with work.
Oh, okay.
So-
Well, that's good.
I'm eventually looking for another photographer,
Yeah.
another video person, and I want to build that side of it too.
Okay.
So yeah, that part I'm just kind of waiting on God to bring the right people again,
Right.
and we're still balancing life and work and figuring out
Yeah.
how to scale and how to build and how to sell to
Yeah.
even larger clients.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. And tell us a little bit about the drone work.
Yeah.
That's I've
It's-
seen some
it's
of
the
your
fun
shots.
stuff.
Yeah. That's really cool. How did you learn how to do the drone?
I just bought one and started flying.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. So you don't have to have a license to fly. As long as your drone's under 55 pounds,
Oh.
you
I
can
didn't know that.
be a hobbyist and
Okay.
you can fly your drone and you don't need licensing. So I started seeing everything in the foothills, and I knew you had to have aerial photography for the mountain views and all of
Yeah.
that. So I got the drone, started learning how to fly it. The basic drones aren't that complicated to fly.
Okay.
You let go of the controls and they're just going to hover. They're just going to sit there and not do anything until you give stick input and tell it what to do.
Okay.
The hard part with those is learning how to give the right stick input
Yeah.
to get some cinematic shots and video.
Right.
Photography, you can fly around, post it up, take your photo, and you're done.
Oh.
With the video side, you're really connecting shots and figuring out how to move the drone, how to tilt the camera, how to do all of that at the same time to get a
Yeah.
really smooth, dynamic shot. And that's what took a lot of practice.
Okay. A lot of muscle memory and just yeah.
Yeah. So getting into that was good. And then to do it commercially, you have to get licensed for it with the FAA.
Okay.
Pro tip, use somebody who's licensed. If you use a drone pilot who's not licensed to do commercial work, to sell anything, to market anything, you can be fined $11,000
Oh, wow. Okay.
for using an unlicensed drone pilot.
Okay.
The drone pilot will be fined $1,100.
Really?
Yeah. So use licensed drone pilots.
Yeah.
There's a lot that goes into knowing how to work with controlled airspace. And in Tucson, you've got Davis Monthan,
Yeah.
you've got the commercial airport. So there's a lot of airspace in Tucson that you need to have special approval to fly in.
Oh, okay.
And then when presidents come to town, they lock the airspace down. When forest fires happen, they lock the airspace down.
That's right. Yeah.
And every time a forest fire happens, some person who doesn't know the rules throws their drone up because they want to get cool shots of it, and they get in trouble because they don't know the drone laws.
Oh, wow.
So As a commercial licensed drone pilot, I have access to get those special approvals, which for real estate, you've got real estate all over Tucson, and a lot of it's in that controlled airspace. So I had to get the licensing, and I had to figure all of that out.
Wow.
So it's been a really fun journey, learning how to do the actual drone work and then learning the technical side of it to be a responsibly licensed drone pilot. There's a lot to it. So that's the basic drone. You're going to get like the cinematic steady shots. You're going to get photography with it. You let the sticks go and it just hovers, does its own thing. Moving into, in the last 2 years, I've learned how to fly what's called FPV drones, first-person view drones. And traditionally, these have been used for drone racing. They're just
drone racing.
Yes, yes. These things easily
Is it like
go,
an obstacle course? Like, do you have to go under things, over things, through things?
Yep. They'll set up. You can either set up courses in abandoned buildings. You can set up indoor courses with rings and loops and ladders to fly through and all this stuff. These drones go well over 100 miles an hour.
Wow.
So it's racing. It's fast.
Yeah.
This is where you wear the goggles. You put goggles on, and you'll see guys standing there with goggles sometimes.
Yeah.
There's a little camera on the front of the drone that connects to your goggles, and that's you see what the drone sees.
Okay.
And so that's how you can fly through these really tiny gaps and go fast, and you can do flips and loops and all these things with the drones. With these drones, if you let go of the sticks, it dies.
Oh, okay.
You control every single motion and movement of these drones. And so to learn how to fly these, it took hours on a sim on my computer so that I wasn't crashing and burning hundreds of dollars of drones.
Yeah, definitely. And they're super sensitive then.
Very.
Yeah.
So I learned on the sim. I put a lot of time in, a lot of work in on the simulator, and then added the FPV drones in.
Okay.
And you put a GoPro on that, and if you learn how to do it right, you can get some really cool cinematic shots.
Okay.
So it's not just for drone racing.
Yeah.
But these drones can get shots that the regular drones can't get.
Right.
Oftentimes, one of my favorite shots is flying up to a house and punching up super high above it, so you're just diving down on the house and spinning around, and then you can pull out at the last moment.
Yeah.
And it just pulls in some really cool dynamic stuff. You can fly under trees and actually through the house.
I remember you did that. There was a video that you went under a tree, and then I think they had some French doors, and they were open, and you went through the French doors. And
it's just it's cool. It really pulls people into what that space could be.
Yeah.
And just seeing it in a different way. That's hopefully a lot more engaging.
Yeah.
And
and you've even had some props or staged things. I think you had some kids playing on trampoline or kicking a soccer ball or something. And
And that's another thing that we've really enjoyed moving into is in the luxury real estate space, using lifestyle stuff to set apart the videos and making it feel more like a preview of a film
of what it could be
for what the house
your
could
family
be.
could be in here doing this stuff.
Yes. And so when we can pull in kids playing on the trampoline or diving under the pool, we had somebody dive in the pool and they took a GoPro because they're waterproof. And they dove underwater, so you get that underwater view and feel of like, I'm there, I'm feeling this.
Yeah.
There's a lot of horse property in Tucson, and so we'll find people with horses that'll bring them in and ride horses around and get the fire going at night, so you get that like campfire horse feel, and just there's a lot of
cool.
a lot of cool lifestyle stuff that we've been able to bring in.
Right.
There was a place with an Olympic size pool, and so we brought a U of A swimmer in and did lifestyle stuff with them, diving and swimming in the pool.
Wow.
Just marketing, what these homes could be.
Right.
So that's been a really fun part of the real estate side of what we do.
All right. So on the buyers or sellers of the real estate, have you met any like
famous people? So the brand Marc Jacobs? It's a designer handbag clothing brand.
Okay. My wife probably knows.
Probably. It was two founders, and so I met the co-founder of Marc Jacobs.
Okay.
He was here, and he's bought and sold 2 or 3 homes in Tucson.
Oh, okay.
And we've shot both of his homes. That
Wow,
he was
that's
doing here,
great.
so that was cool.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think who else. Up in, do you know what Miraval is?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Sure.
so we've shot a home or 2 up in Miraval.
Oh, okay.
And those aren't necessarily owned by super fancy people, but Miraval is super exclusive.
It is. And there's a lot of people come into Tucson through Miraval. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was a cool space to work in as well.
I had a friend that used to work at Miraval a long time ago, but he met a lot of famous people.
It was interesting. They wouldn't let me even drive into Miraval. I had to park my car outside. And
really?
then they had a security cart come up load all my stuff, take it in.
Wow.
I couldn't use my phone. Like you're not allowed using your phone or anything there. It's just completely unplugged lifestyle, which is interesting.
Yeah.
They wouldn't let me fly my drones there.
Oh.
I found out later on in the shoot that I couldn't fly my drones because each of the homes has like outdoor showers and they want to respect privacy and all of that stuff. So
well, that makes sense.
It was just kind of a really exclusive, interesting place to work.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you want to have that atmosphere, definitely move up there.
There was another, so I really pushed into Instagram for our marketing.
Okay.
And I'll use a hashtag that's worked really well and brought actually thousands of dollars of work in. But I had a wedding planner from the East Coast.
Mm-hmm.
They were having a destination Eastern Indian wedding in Star Pass. And they came in from Georgia.
Oh.
And so the wedding planner reached out and they're like, hey, we had another video team lined up. Our guy got COVID. They can't come. Can you film for 3 days behind the scenes of our wedding planning and our catering?
Wow.
And so the whole wedding planning team, the catering team, the whole wedding came from Georgia area and came out here. And so it was supposed to be 3 days. It turned into 7 days of just insanity.
Really?
We were there from like 5 or 6 in the morning until 8 or 9 at night every day.
Yeah.
And have you ever seen an Eastern Indian wedding?
No.
It's insane.
Yeah.
So the prep work, the first 3 days was all just prep work.
Oh, wow. Okay.
They had every day of the wedding, which went for 3 days.
Oh, it's a 3-day wedding.
Yes.
Okay.
And they had every day they had 2 or 3 different ceremonies with different dance floors.
Oh, wow.
And different locations. They set up dance floors out on the golf course. They set up dance floors in the ballrooms. It was insane. And everybody there for those 3 or 4 days, they would get up at 4 or 5 in the morning.
Right.
And then they would go to bed at 1 or 2 at night.
Ooh.
Or in the
Some
morning.
long days, yeah.
And there was a whole nurse team that was there just giving IV injections to
Keep
everybody.
everyone hydrated.
Just to keep everybody
and,
hydrated and operating while they were there.
Wow.
I've never seen anything crazy like that before.
Yeah.
They had the bride and groom flew in on a helicopter. And then during the ceremony, when the bride's walking down the aisle, the helicopter flew over and dumped 25 gallons of rose petals, while she's walking down the aisle.
Really?
So my wife and I actually got to ride in the helicopter. I'm hanging out the side with my cinema camera, filming like the view down, and my wife's helping shovel out the the rose petals. So that was one of the.
And
coolest.
she's like, "Why didn't you do this for me?"
I know. It was one of the cooler experiences that we've had here.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
It was cool.
Now, did you film that? Did you do all of that for the actual wedding party, or was it for the planners that wanted that, like as a promotional video?
For the planners and the caterers, just for promoting what they do.
Okay.
There was another team there doing media for the actual wedding.
Oh, okay.
They did pretty good work.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Wow, that's amazing.
I'm not sure I would do it again.
Yeah.
Just because how crazy it was.
That's a long week. Yeah.
It was a good experience.
Yeah. I worked on movie sets before. Many years ago, I worked at Old Tucson.
Okay.
And I worked on several movie sets. And they could be from 6 a.m. till midnight or whatever. I mean, that's just how the day went. They had to film so many scenes a day, to stay on track. And if it took 50 takes, they would do 50 takes.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
So you've been in Tucson for 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we're going to a break.
All right. Perfect.
All right. We'll be back in just a couple minutes with Southwest Flavor.
Hi, I'm Alan Murdoch. For the past 20 years, I've been buying, fixing, and selling properties right here in Southern Arizona. And I want to buy your property. Whether it's a house, apartment, commercial building, or vacant land, regardless of the condition or the situation, I want to talk to you. When you sell to me, I pay cash and it's hassle-free. No repairs, no closing costs, and no commissions. If you have a property you don't want to deal with and you want a quick solution, call, text, or visit selltalon.com. Again, that's selltalon.com.
Discover the power of 88 Crime, where your anonymous tips are rewarded with cash. When you call in anonymously with the tip, you are given a code. With the code and a password, you can walk into a bank and redeem your reward anonymously. If your anonymous tip results in a felony arrest, you can claim up to $2,500 cash reward. Let's stop the silence on crime and strive for a safer community. For more information, please visit 88crime.org or call 88crime.
Copper Creek Cookies, Copper Creek Cookies, coppercreekcookies.net.
We can print anything on our soft vanilla logo cookies. We deliver them and other sweet treats locally. We are located at 4249 West Ina Road, Suite 121. Call us 520-300-1131. We bake smiles.
Copper Creek Cookies, Copper Creek Cookies, coppercreekcookies.net.
Your favorite radio just got bigger, bolder, and better connected. Live the Dream Media is revolutionizing how you stay tuned in. With our explosive growth in online radio and our brand new mobile app, your entertainment goes wherever you do. Stream your favorite shows, discover new hits, and connect with audiences across the digital landscape, all at your fingertips. Advertisers don't miss out. Join our expanding digital network and reach engaged listeners across platforms. Download the Live the Dream Media app today and experience radio reimagined.
And welcome back to our last segment of Southwest Flavor, talking with Logan Harding. So we've talked all about your business. Come in here. Tell us a little bit about how faith has shaped your business.
Yeah. So, man, it's shaped everything.
Yeah.
The whole reason for life for me is my faith in Christ.
Right.
It goes way back to, I come from a broken family.
Oh, okay.
We were raised Christian.
Mm-hmm.
So I always knew of God and Christ. And I was 11 when I really kind of decided to make it my own.
Okay.
And then at 12, I'll go back. I said I decided to make it my own. Really, the Holy Spirit works.
Yeah.
And the Holy Spirit does the work and saves.
Right. Yeah, because none of us deserve it.
No, and none of us can earn it.
Yeah.
So really, Christ saved me when I was 11.
Okay.
And when I was 12, it came out that that my dad was abusive and split the family.
Oh, okay.
And so we moved away. And really, at that point, when you're 12 and you're growing up and you're trying to figure out life, and all of a sudden your family's ripped apart and you don't have a dad, it's like, what do you do?
And that's a really hard time because, as a young man, you're starting to try to figure things out. And
what does manhood look like?
Yeah.
Who am I supposed to be?
Right,
Now that I
exactly.
don't have a role model of what I'm supposed to be.
yeah.
And really, in the scripture, it says that God is our Father,
Yeah.
and I had to choose at that point. Okay, do I choose to believe this that God is my Father,
Yeah.
and that He will take care of me like that, or do I choose to not and just go through the pain and suffering and depression and figure life out
Right.
that way? And again, God worked, and I chose. All right, I'm just going to lean into it that God's my Father. And it really deepened my relationship with Christ in a really personal way, where really that's all I had to rely on.
Yeah.
When my mom was going through depression, anxiety, everything that she's suffering. She was married for almost 20 years when this happened. And
Okay.
my siblings, I had an older sister and my younger brother, and we're all working through crap at that point.
Yeah.
But God worked in so many ways to lead and guide and deepen my relationship with Him, and provide in ways that only He could provide,
Right.
and gave me father figures that were chasing after Christ and really pushed me even deeper into Christ. And that's really kind of the core foundation. And so when I look back on that, I see all the ways that He worked, and it's like, He's
Right.
got it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
He's got it.
definitely.
I can't screw life up in a way that's big enough to ruin His plans.
Yeah.
And
Even through your darkest times.
right,
Yeah, God's still there.
right.
Yeah.
And so that's really been my core foundation for life, for stability. And so starting this business, I didn't realize this until maybe a couple years ago. I was talking to another one of my friends. He's a believer as well, and this is really a calling. Like God gives gifts and He gives callings,
Right.
and up until that point, I've always thought, okay, well, that means like missionaries or pastors or
Right.
whatever else, but
not everyone's built to be a missionary or
No.
a pastor.
no.
Yeah.
But I knew that I had to run this business.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I don't know how God's going to use that in the kingdom. Like,
Right.
I'm taking pictures. Okay, whatever. But after realizing, like, God's given me the gift of photography and video. I'm really good at it. He gave me that.
Right.
And I have the choice to use it for the kingdom or otherwise.
Right.
And I've chosen to use it in this business, and realizing that God called me into running this business, and this is his ministry for me.
Right.
And when I realized that, I've been able to look back and see, man, like he's given me so many connections and so many people that I've been able to be a light and a witness to for him.
Yeah.
And he's choosing to build a team where I get to lead these people,
Right.
and I get to be an encouragement to them. And it's been really cool to see so far. Everybody on the team's a believer.
Oh, cool.
And it's helped build our culture of we're doing this for the kingdom. We're doing this for his glory.
Right.
And even in the hard times starting out when we had absolutely nothing, I've had nothing before, and God took care of us.
Yeah.
And so I don't really have this fear of, what if we fail? Like, okay, what if we do fail?
Yeah.
Like, God is bigger than us, and he's bigger than our failure.
Right.
He's been bigger than my failures all through life, and he's always provided. And so it's given me a lot of security knowing that if God wants us to succeed, it's going to succeed,
Right.
whether I'm smart or stupid. And I've been stupid plenty of times. And if he wants it to fail, then it's going to fail no matter how smart I am.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true.
And he teaches us things through failure. And so he lets failure happen.
Yeah.
He teaches us to rely on him through hard things.
Yeah.
It deepens our faith through hard things. And so I don't expect this to be a rosy, yay, I'm going to be a millionaire on the, like,
Right.
it's all easy going from here.
Yeah.
Life has never been that.
No. And every successful person has had many, many failures.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it could be the little tiny ones, or it could be even huge ones.
Yep.
But you know,
Yep.
you pick yourself back up and you just keep going from there.
Yep.
Yeah.
So really everything that we're doing in the business is I'm looking forward to seeing how God works with it.
Cool.
We've been able to help a couple nonprofits here who fight human trafficking, and
Very good.
They teamed up with a therapy ranch in Scottsdale that
Oh, okay.
so the one team rescues victims
Mm-hmm.
from human trafficking, and the other team runs equine therapy with the victims.
Oh,
and
wow.
it's just like
Okay,
a hand-in-hand
cool.
relationship. And so that's one of our passions is
Yeah.
helping in that fight.
Yeah.
And
and it's
so-
such a huge fight, and a lot
Yeah.
of people don't know about it, but
Yeah.
it happens right in front of our eyes,
It's
basically everywhere.
It's so prevalent.
Yeah.
It's so prevalent, especially here so close to the border.
Yeah.
This is one of the heavy routes from the border up to Phoenix, and from Phoenix, it goes nationwide.
Just disperses, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's been cool where God's been able to use us in that, and just different things where I'm seeing he's building the team and he's giving these other people means to support their families through
Right.
the business he's called me to run. And
As a business owner, when you take someone on, you're responsible for that person's family, kind of, financially.
Yeah.
I mean, you're
yeah,
promising them that they'll be able to support their family,
yeah.
and that's a big time duty.
It is.
Yeah.
So having the foundation of knowing that God's in control.
Yeah.
Like, well, all right, God, you support their family, because I'm doing the best I can do, and
Right.
I don't know exactly what I'm doing so far, but it's been a really cool journey with all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
and
is awesome.
if we succeed, it's for His glory.
Right.
And
Always.
I always go back to the story of Job. He was the richest man in his time, had the most wealth, had the biggest family, and God took it all away.
Yeah.
And it wasn't anything Job did.
Yeah.
It wasn't that he screwed up. It wasn't that he made a mistake. It wasn't that he failed. God allowed it to happen to teach Job and to bring this whole story out for His glory.
Yeah.
And I always keep that in mind, and I hold my business with an open hand.
Mm-hmm.
God, if you want my business, it's yours. If you want to take it, do whatever you want with it. I want it to succeed, of course. I'm going to do all that I
Yeah,
can.
you're
to
going to do
help
everything that you can do. Yeah.
But ultimately, it's up to God, and it gives me a lot of faith and confidence of just I hold it with an open hand, and it's for His glory wherever it goes.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah,
It's been a
thank you.
pleasure.
Thank you. It was
Yeah.
fun.
All right. This is another episode of Southwest Flavor. Remember, go out and vote today. It's very important. And join us next week, next Tuesday, Southwest Flavor. We'll see you next week.